So hi guys, welcome to another episode of Math Tanong. In this video, pag-uusapan natin is all about adding decimals. How are we going to add decimal numbers? So yan yung mga tanong na sasagutin natin later on. But before that, let's just talk about decimals. What do you mean by decimals? Let's have a short review about decimals or decimal numbers. A decimal number is defined as a number expressed in decimal notation and generally applied to the values that have a fraction part and separated from the integer side by a decimal separator. Ibig sabihin nito na decimal numbers are numbers that are lesser than 1, and it also represents something that is part of a whole. Kaya minsan sa klase ko, ini-introduce ko to siya as kamag-anak lang ni fraction. Bakit? Kasi si fraction tsaka si decimal represents something that is part of a whole and lesser than 1. Si decimal numbers at si whole numbers are so alike. Parehas lang mga digits na ginagamit kapag sinusulat sila. That's why the mathematician used decimal separators, which is decimal point, to separate a whole number from decimal number para ma-identify natin which is decimal number and which is whole number. For example, we have this decimal number, 7 and 25 hundredths. So you have noticed that the digits in our example are separated by a decimal point. We have numbers on the right and we have numbers on the left. So yung mga numbers na nasa right at saka nasa left ay sineseparate siya ng point. And that point is what we call decimal point. So again, the decimal point separates the whole number from the decimal number. So yung number na nasa left side ng decimal point is what we call the whole number. And the number that is at the right side of the decimal point is what we call decimal numbers. So these are the basic information about decimal numbers. This is how are we going to identify decimal numbers. Siyempre, napag-aralan nyo na to nung mga lower year pa ninyo. But we're just going to have a review para makonect natin siya sa discussion natin on how are we going to add decimals. And one more thing, we're going to have a short review also in decimal place value chart. So again, sabi ko kanina, whole number and decimal numbers are separated by a decimal point. So if we're going to read the decimal point or we're going to put that into number word, ang decimal point ay binabasa natin as n. So whole numbers and decimal numbers are just so alike na kailangan natin ng separator para ma-identify natin sila kung alin ba ang decimal numbers at ang whole number. If you have noticed that the whole number has its place value. So, nagsa-start siya ng ones, tens, 100,000, 10,000, 100,000, millions. Ganon din ang decimal numbers. Meron din silang mga place value. But the place value starts after the decimal point. So, it starts from the left. And it starts with tenths, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, and millions. So, again, decimal numbers are numbers after the decimal points. And the whole numbers are numbers that comes before the decimal point. And that is our short review about decimal numbers. And hopefully na-recall nyo ng konti yung mga concept and ideas about decimal numbers kasi gagamitin natin siya later on. So again, keep on watching, and without wasting any time, let's move on to my presentation. Let's go! So adding decimal numbers. So how are we going to add decimal numbers? Adding decimal numbers is similar to the process of adding whole numbers. To add decimal numbers, we're going to follow a certain steps. Number 1, arrange the digits in column and align the decimal points. So ibig sabihin, i-arrange daw natin yung mga given addends into column and make it sure that the decimal point should be aligned first so that the digits in our addends will align together based on their decimal places. Ang importante kasi, ang ina-align talaga natin dito is yung mga decimal places ng digits natin at makakatulong yung pag-a-align ng decimal point natin para automatic ma-align natin yung place value ng mga digits natin sa given addends natin. Number 2, insert 0 in empty decimal place value if needed, so that all of the numbers have the same number of decimal places. So kung mapapansin mo na merong number from the right na walang katapat, or bakante or hindi nagtatapat, ang gagawin lang natin is we're going to put zeros. Actually, zeros at the end of decimal numbers has no value. Wala na po silang value. We're just going to put 0 if needed. Kagaya nga nito, lalagyan lang daw natin ng 0 at the end just to make the number, just to have the same number of decimal places. So, it's just okay to add 0. Next, number 3, add as if whole number. So, we're just going to add them as if whole number. Kapag in-add na natin sila, just disregard first the decimal point. Just don't mind the decimal point and do the process in adding numbers. Then later on na natin siya alalahanin kung paano natin ilalagay yung decimal point. And of course, the number 4, place the decimal point between the digits vertically aligned to all the decimals. So, ibig sabihin, itatapat mo lang, ibababa mo lang yung decimal point katapat ng mga decimal points sa addends mo. Kaya importante na lahat ng mga digits in your answer are properly aligned based on their place value. So, these are the process on how are we going to add decimal numbers. So, para mas maunawaan natin itong mga steps na to, let's put it into an example. So, I have here some given numbers or given addends. We have 786 thousandths plus 26 hundredths. So, it says that the first step that we're going to do is to arrange the digits in columns and align the decimal point. So, importante na ma-align natin yung decimal point. So, first, we're going to write the 786 thousandths, and then we're going to place the decimal point para automatically we can align the place value of our digits in the given addends. So, next is we're going to put the second addends. So, if you have noticed, after I put the decimal point, na-align na siya sa mga digits kasi from decimal point, it starts with 2 and then followed by 6. So, itapat-tapat mo lang siya after you put the decimal point. Para in that way, sure ka na nagkatapat yung mga digits or mga place value ng mga digits ng addends mo. So, at first, kailangan natin siyang gawin para masanay tayo. So, and I'm pretty sure na sanay naman na kayong magtapat ng mga decimal point. And so, short recall lang to para ma-master natin. Then, second step is insert the zeros in empty decimal places or place value if needed. So, kung napapansin nyo, walang katapat si 6. Just to have the same number of decimal places, we're just going to add zeros. And then, add as if whole number. So, this time, we're just going to add. So, we're just going to use the process in adding whole number. 6 plus 0, that gives us 6. 8 plus 6, that gives us 14. So, we're going to regroup. Bring down 4 and carry 1. Then 7 plus 2, that gives us 9. Plus carry 1, that gives us 10. So, regroup again. Put 0 and carry 1. 1 plus 0, 0, that gives us 1. So, we now have our answer, 1046. So, hindi pa yan yung final answer natin. Bakit? Always remember that you add a decimal number. So, therefore, the answer should be also a decimal number. So, where are we going to put decimal point? I-align lang natin kung saan nakalagay yung mga decimal point ng mga addends natin. So, itatapat lang natin sila. So, sabi dito, place the decimal point between the digits vertically aligned to all the decimals. So, since nakalagay yung decimal point dyan sa may red, so itatapat lang din natin sila. So, therefore, our answer is not 1,046, but instead, we have 1 and 46 thousandths. So, yeah, that's how are we going to add decimal numbers. We're just going to follow 4 steps. So, para mas maunawaan, I still have another example. This time, we're going to add 95 hundredths plus 318 thousandths. So, again, we're going to arrange the digits in column and align the decimal points. So, we're going to put the first addend, 95 hundredths, then align the decimal point, then we're going to place the decimal places or we're going to write the second addend according to its place value. Next is insert zeros in empty decimal place value. So, kung napapansin nyo, walang katapat si 8, so pwede natin siyang lagyan ng 0 just to have the same number of decimal places. So actually, pwede nyo naman ng hindi lagyan ng 0 siya kasi it's just addition lang naman. Next, add as if whole number. Now let's add 0 plus a, 8. That gives us 8. 5 plus 1, yes, 6. 9 plus 3, that gives us 12. So, regroup, bring down 2, carry 1. 1 plus 0, 0, that gives us 1. And again, place the decimal point between the digits vertically aligned to all the decimals. So, lagay lang natin siya naka-align. Kung saan yung mga decimal point, i-align lang natin, ibababa lang din siya. So, our answer is 1,268. So, always remember na wag mong kakalimutan ang paglagay ng decimal point kasi pag wala yung decimal point, our answer will be 1,268 which is different from the real answer. Kahit na tama yung pag-compute mo sa mga digits, dahil mali yung pagkalagay mo sa decimal point, your answer still be wrong. Kaya wag kalimutang ilagay yung decimal point. Kapag nilagay mo naman yung decimal point between 2 and 6, that becomes 12 and 68 hundreds. So mag-iiba pa rin yung sagot. It doesn't mean na tama yung digits mo ay tama ka na. Pag nag-add ng decimal number, you should be careful in placing your decimal point. Aligning the decimal point will leads you to align all the digits in its proper place value. Next, another example. 7 and 253 thousandths plus 2 and 73 hundredths. So you have noticed we're going to add a mixed decimal. Bakit siya tinatawag na mixed decimal? It's because we have whole number at the same time decimal number, or a combination of a whole number and decimal number. So again, first thing to do, to arrange the digits in column and align the decimal points. So we're going to write the first number or decimal number, which is 7 and 253 thousandths. Then we're going to write again decimal point, and sa left ng decimal number is 2, so ilagay din natin si 2. Sa right ng decimal number is 7 and 3, so we're going to put 7 and 3 also. This time we're going to insert the zeros. So since walang katapat si 3, we're going to place or to put zeros para to have the same number of decimal places. Then this time we are now ready to add the given addends. So 3 plus 0, we have 3. 5 plus 3, we have 8. 7 plus 2, we have 9. 7 plus 2, we have also 9. And then don't forget to, yes, put the decimal point. Saan natin ilalagay si decimal point? Yeah, exactly. So, vertically aligned to all the decimals. So, it's between 9. So, the answer is, yes, exactly, 9 and 983 thousandths. So, again, wag natin kakalimutan mag-align ng maayos sa mga decimal point. So that's how are we going to add decimal numbers. Napakadali lang mag-add ng decimal numbers. We're just going to add them as if whole number. Walang pinagkaiba yung process niya sa pag-add ng whole number. It's just that kailangan lang nating maging careful sa paglagay ng mga decimal point. Una, maging careful tayo in placing the decimal places accordingly. So dapat lahat ng digits in our addends should be properly aligned according to their decimal places, at makakatulong doon kapag inalign natin ng maayos yung mga decimal point kasi automatically all the digits will be aligned to its proper places. At pangalawa, yung sagot natin should always be, or yung digits ng sagot natin should be proper aligned sa mga place value nila. Para mas maunawaan pa, let's have another example. One last example. So 26 and 24 hundredths plus 15 and 783 thousandths. Now, again, unang gagawin? So, of course, i-align natin sila in column. So, 26 and 24, align the decimal point. Si 5 is naka-align kay 6, si 1 is naka-align kay 2. Si 7 naka-align kay 2, and si 8 naka-align kay 4. So, that's how are we going to write the second addend. Next, we're going to put 0 if possible. Meron tayong bungi, meron tayong blank space sa first addend natin. So, lagyan lang natin ng 0. Next is add as if whole number. So, we're going to add them as if whole number. So, 0 plus 3, we have 3. 4 plus 8, we have 12, carry 1. 7 plus 2, that is 9 plus 1, 10. Bring down 0 and carry 1. 6 plus 5, that gives us 11. 11 plus carry 1, that gives us 12. So bring down 2, carry 1. 2 plus 1, that gives us 3. And then, plus carry 1, that gives us 4. So ang decimal point is in between 2 and 0, vertically aligned to all the decimal point. So our answer is, yes, 42 and 23 thousandths. Another one, this time we're going to add 3 addends. So ganun pa rin, walang pinagbago, align them properly. I-align natin yung mga decimal points so that all the digits will be properly aligned according to its place value. So 5 and 781 thousandths plus 1 and 6 tenths. Kung napapansin nyo, marami tayong mga vacant na place value or tinatawag natin ng mga bungi-bungi sa place value natin. So anong gagawin natin to have the same number of digits? Yes, we're just going to put 0. Actually, pwede namang hindi. Pero, yeah, pwede rin naman. So wala namang masama kapag lagyan natin ng 0. So again, zeros at the end of our decimal numbers has no value or have no values. Next, we're going to add them as a full number. 0 plus 1 plus 0 is equal to 1. So we're going to add them from right to left. 4 plus 8, that gives us, yes, 12. Bring down 2, carry 1. 2 plus 7, that gives us 9, plus 6, that will gives us 15, plus carry 1, yes, 16, then carry 1. 6 plus 5, that gives us 11, plus 1, that makes it 12, and then plus carry 1, that will gives us 13. So 13, regroup, bring down 3, and carry 1. 2 plus 1, yeah, that gives us 3. Then we're going to bring down the decimal point between 3 and 6. So our final answer is 33 and 621 thousandths. So that's how are we going to add decimal numbers. First, we're going to align all the digits according to its place value. Second is, lagyan natin ng zeros yung mga vacant na digits in our addends or yung mga bungi-bungi. Lagyan natin ng 0 just to align and to have the same number of digits in our addends. And next is, add muna natin sila as a full number from right to left. And then of course, put your decimal point vertically aligned to the decimal point of your addends. So that's it. That's how easy we're going to add decimal numbers. So I guess it's your turn. Let's find out if you learned something new today and try to solve this one. If you know the answer, just leave it in the comment section below. And again, if you are new into this channel, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell para ma-notify kayo just in case meron tayong bagong video lesson on a particular topic in math. So again, maraming salamat and kita-kits tayo sa mga susunod na video. So have a nice day, keep safe, and God bless.